Texans contenders in the AFC?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. I cannot believe I'm saying that this season, the way they started. I was one of the people on Bill O'Brien, absolutely. Listen, he was on the hot seat, legitimately on the hot seat. You know, local press saying he's on articles coming out. He's on the hot seat, and you don't even need to read that to know early on. Wait, I thought you were a quarterback guru. What have you done as a head coach? Name one quarterback you ever did anything with as a head coach.
Right.
The one guy was Deshaun Watson, and then it looked like serious regression.
Yeah.
Of course, he's coming off an injury and everything. The offensive line has been down and now up this season. But this team is a threat. Guys, let's just remember how we were feeling heading into Monday Night Football, 24 hours ago. Was it a great matchup? It wasn't something to really get super excited about. But that's not because of the Texans. It's because of the Titans. The Titans are the kind of 8-8-ish, nondescript, you don't really care about watching them even when they play okay type team. The Texans, on the other hand, are the interesting team. Why? Because they have brand names wherever you look. On the defense, J.J. Watt, one of the best who's ever done it. Jadeveon Clowney, a #1 overall pick, right? On the offense, of course, DeAndre Hopkins is an elite, top 5 kind of guy. Lamar Miller, by the way, the only reason he's not perceived as an elite running back is he doesn't do that all the time. But he has.
Well, that would be the definition of elite.
But he has. But his top end performances are right there with anyone. He can catch. He can run the whole thing.
Okay.
And now imagine this: it's a playoff game. You're a fan of the other team. You're up 6 points, but there's 2 minutes left in the game. And Deshaun Watson has the ball. You nervous? Because I'm quaking if I'm a fan of the other team. I took them to win the national title when he was still in college because who has the best player on the field? I don't care if you're playing Alabama. Who has the best player on the field? Under pressure, the team with Deshaun Watson. They are a threat legitimately this season.
I disagree. I'm not caught up in the sauce. Let me be very, very clear. They started off the season 0-3. I'm not trying to sit up there and tell you that the Texans are a bad team, but we talk about sleeper, contender status, or whatever. I'm snoring on them, okay? My sleep apnea is kicking in on them, all right? I'm not worried about the Houston Texans a bit. Will they make the playoffs? In all likelihood, yes. Then they'll go home. They have a big-time defense. I respect that. Not big-time to the degree that the Bears are, but you know what? This is a top 5 defense. We're going to give the respect where respect is due. I mean, Deshaun Watson threw for 210 yards last night. Lamar Miller, he's good. 12 rushes for 162 yards, including the 97-yard touchdown. I mean, are we assuming that that's going to happen on a regular basis? Not. We got Demaryius Thomas, who arrived after Fuller goes down for the year. He's supposed to be that guy on the opposite end of the field from DeAndre Hopkins. What happens? 3 games, he's got 7 receptions. Let's pump the brakes just a little bit on Bill O'Brien.
Last night, you like Demaryius Thomas last night?
He's all right. 4 receptions, 38 yards. He's all right. It's all right. It's all right. I'm not overblown. Listen. I'm saying to you, if we want to talk about them, we need to be having a conversation about them in the AFC South. In terms of the big picture, in terms of playoffs, when I think about Kansas City, Pittsburgh, New England, I'm not sold on Houston. Houston doesn't move me. I'm looking at the Houston Texans right now. And oh, by the way, you know, where am I going, Molly? Where am I going, Molly?
Resume.
Resume, baby. Are you ready for this, Max? Let me throw these by you because I'm looking at this schedule right here. This is after their 0-3 start. The Indianapolis Colts hadn't figured things out yet.
Right.
You
That's
beat
fair.
them. You beat them. The Dallas Cowboys, don't get me started. I'm in a good mood. Then after that, you got the Buffalo Bills. You got the Jacksonville Jaguars. You got the Miami Dolphins. That was who they beat. Now, obviously, Denver, that was a good victory because we've seen what Denver has done. Washington, Alex Smith gets hurt. He goes down for the year. And then last night, the Titans, who have been up and down all year, they're like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. No consistency with them whatsoever. So what I'm saying is, when you look at their resume, the Houston Texans, do you sit up there and poo-poo it? No. But do you sit up there and go like this? Yo, they could be a legitimate threat in the AFC? Hell no.
Here's the problem.
I'm not so.
You're penalizing them for their schedule. They can't choose who they play. They got to play who's there. They're beating them all.
You always say that to me, and I always respond by telling you this. I'm not faulting them because I understand it's football, and you can only play the people that's in front of you. You can't play everybody. You only got 16 games. I understand
not really
it. But
a quality opponent, Matt.
It is what it is.
This is what I'll say.
Opponent?
Teams like, the reason the league is 8-8, because teams like Denver or Washington or Tennessee can beat anyone on any given Sunday, or in this case, Monday night. Those are the middle-of-the-pack type teams. The reason teams don't go undefeated is because they lose a couple times a year to a team like that, even the good ones.
I would remind you that the Minnesota Vikings, who won the NFC title game last year, were considered the Super Bowl contender this year, got blown out earlier this year by the Buffalo Bills.
Right.
Any given Sunday is applicable in the NFL. We understand that. But by and large, don't get me started. Don't get me started.
That's not what I'm saying.
Don't force me to start using words like quantitatively.
That's not.
Like you do.
Hold on. Let's make a separation here. Buffalo Bills have an impressive defense, but that's all. They're a bad team.
Okay.
Right? What I'm talking about is the middle of the pack teams. I just said the Tennessee Titans don't get you excited because they're the definition of the middle of the pack team.
But I'm not disagreeing with you.
They've knocked off big-time opponents.
Right. Yeah. When you play 3 consecutive, like 8 and 8-ish type teams, usually a team will lose to one of those teams.
And all I'm trying to say to you is I'm not challenging that point. I'm saying to you, my narrative is when you talk to me about a team that could be a legitimate threat, I'm looking at the teams that I know are threats. And I'm saying, okay, what you got for them?
Let me ask you your gut.
I don't believe Houston has it.
By the way, that's fair. Now let me ask
by the way, hold on. Before you ask me this question, let me throw this at you because this is right down your alley.
Go ahead.
We all know how much you love yourself some Andrew Luck because we know how I feel about Andrew Luck, but especially you. Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
If you had to pick between Andrew Luck and Houston right now, who would you go with? That's right. Take a deep breath, brother. Go ahead. Take your time. Take your time.
Houston had, because of the record, they have a head start. But
really?
But let me say this.
By the way, they play December 9th.
Yeah, let me say this. And Andrew Luck, to me, is better than Deshaun Watson. But Deshaun Watson has something.
I like
the reason when
Deshaun.
He was drafted as low as he was, in fact, it's like, wait a minute. You know, Trubisky is a fast guy with a big arm, right? And the question is the accuracy down the field. And maybe Trubisky winds up a better quarterback than Deshaun Watson. Maybe. Who knows?
Maybe.
But in terms of that thing that a quarterback has, where you're like, the game's on the line, who's the best player on the field? I've seen it too often in his career as an amateur and pro. Deshaun Watson with a game on the line turns into the best player on the field.
That's slick.